So stay standing. Stay. Oh. Thank you, guys. That's Nick. Is that you, Nick? All right, Nick. All right, so right now, take a look around. This might be statistically valid. If we have a little more than 100 people, we have a little more than 6 people standing. You guys found purpose. The rest of you guys sitting down didn't. All right, sit down, guys. Sit down. So when we're talking about passion, right, when we're talking about passion, we tend to focus a lot on skills and talents and on passion, right? What excites us, what energizes us, what it is that makes us happy. And I would say that that's probably not a bad thing. Raise your hand if you like happiness. Yeah. Raise your hand if you like doing what you love doing. Okay. So that's the problem. The problem is every one of you and me, we agree, we want to do the stuff we like doing. We want to do the stuff that we're good at. We want to do the stuff that makes us feel good. We want to do the stuff that in every single way gives us joy. So when we look around and we start asking people, hey, you're in business? What's that like? Hey, you just left your job? Why'd you do that? Do you know anybody who can give me a book? Something that can maybe get me on my path to success? Can you help me understand what it takes to be successful? Sure. Follow your dreams. Follow your heart. Do the work you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Right? Haven't you heard that? Is that not the philosophy that it's easy to subscribe to? You may have very well got the membership edition where it is delivered monthly. It might be an inspirational quote, right? It may be the book club. It might be tuning into Oprah. Right? We want to follow this advice. And when we talk to business owners and we talk to the folks who we believe to be successful, and it doesn't necessarily have to be business owners, it could be the guy who's running the show that we work for, right? When we talk to them and we ask them these kind of questions, they give us the glossy version of their success story. When we read case studies online, it's the glossy version of the success story. If any of you guys read Brogan, which I'm sure you do, Brogan wrote a post many weeks, months, years ago that said he was an overnight success thanks to about 7 or 10 hard years, right? And that's the truth. The overnight success is what we want. The 7 to 10 years is what we don't want to do. We don't want to talk about it, but we want those results. So the problem, though, is there's nobody out there, no voice of reason, see me on the stage, no voice of reason talking about the glossy results that you want come at a price. And when we live in a world where everything we do is passion-based, focused on our emotions, focused on our happiness, focused on our excitement, we create internal flaws in what we're doing. And I'm here to suggest that there's a problem with passion. Not a huge problem, not a problem like we need to avoid it, but the kind of problem that says, passion might kill my business. Passion might kill my work performance. Passion might kill my greatest opportunity because I'm so inspired to do something over here, I don't do what I was really supposed to do. Right? Who here has been inspired to do something very cool? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if it was hard. Now, dig down a little bit. We're amongst friends. Raise your hand if you didn't finish what you started. So, that's why I'm here today. Because I have a belief and a love and a desire for you guys that's so intense and is so freaking cool. I wanted to convince you to stop following your heart and your dreams. To not just go out into the open thinking, oh my gosh, it's all about passion. Because passion's not sustainable. It's not what you build a business plan on. It's not really going to rock your world. I promise it's not. And I know because I've done it myself. I'm just like you guys. I've gone up following my passion for 15 years. I launched a bunch of stuff. I launched newspapers, magazines, websites, e-commerce sites, social media plans, strategies, blah, 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 blah. And then I started thinking about things. And I started to realize we really don't want happiness all the time. I mean, we want happiness, but we don't want happiness all the time, right? what we really want is we want meaning. We want significance. We want direction. We want focus. We want purpose, right? And when we live in an emotional state 24/7 and we're distracted and we got all these things going on, we deny ourselves from an opportunity to reach significance. And if you start a business or you're thinking about starting a business, you didn't do it because you wanted to be happy. You might have followed the things that made you happy, but you didn't do it because you wanted to be happy. You did it because you wanted to make a difference, right? You started blogging because you wanted to make a difference, right? Am I off track here? Give me a hands up if I'm on track, right? You started doing these things because you thought it meant something, right? And sure, it probably aligned with your passions, but that's not the only reason you did it. But a lot of times when we start to go down a path, we come to a conclusion. We start to reflect on things. We start to remember all the things we started that we didn't finish. And here it is, February. A lot of times those kind of thoughts and ideas start happening around Christmas time, and we really start to consider it in January, and we hope our taxes will be better this year, right? So I started thinking about this, and I want to ask you, what did you think about, or when you reflect on the last week, the last month, the last year, the last 5 years, did it represent purpose? Did what you accomplished actually have purpose, significance? Because I bet you anything, if you're a type A personality or you're very disciplined, you did a lot of stuff. You accomplished a lot, right? Because that's what we do. You're at this conference because you're a doer, right? So I don't doubt for a minute that 5 years ago to now you've done a lot. I don't doubt that you've learned a lot. I don't doubt that you've inspired yourself many times. But can I have my friends that stood up earlier? Can you guys stand up one more time for me for dramatic effect? These are the only ones that had purpose. At least statistically speaking. We're special, so half the room would stand up here, I know. Right? You guys can sit back down. But what we're talking about here is the fact that according to the evidence suggests that we were not successful in purpose. We may have accomplished a lot, we may have done a lot, but we weren't successful. So for me, my revelation came in this very simple statement. I realized, Justin, it is not what you're capable of, it is what you're called to. When I had that statement playing itself in my mind, and I realized it doesn't matter if I can write code, it doesn't matter if I can do design, it doesn't matter if I can write a blog post, it doesn't matter if I can do the headlines, it doesn't matter if I can make the phone calls, it doesn't matter if I can sell, it doesn't matter if I can do the proposal, right? It does not matter what I can do. It matters what I'm capable of. And sometimes what you're capable of, matters what I'm called to, right? Sometimes what you're called to, though, has nothing to do with your best skills, has nothing to do with your best talents. Because it goes to a whole new level, right? The calling in your life, the purpose in your life, isn't necessarily what you dedicated your time to learn. Many years ago, I started a web development company. In fact, I started learning a nifty little program called Photoshop using a software manual, right? I actually learned how to use Photoshop by reading the 3.0 version of the manual. Now, thankfully, this was before all the great inspiring documents were online as they are now, because this was in the 90s. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do design and I'm going to do web development. That's what I'm going to do. I'm inspired by it. And I turned my passion into a business, and I went out and sold a lot of stuff. And then I'm happy to say in the last however many years it's been, since the 90s, I've probably launched 250 websites. Some of them were good. But what I realized was the thing I was passionate about completely lost its thrills. I began to hate my passion. And now, whenever I'm in a private place with somebody, I tell them, I don't do graphic design. I don't do web development. I don't write. I don't do those things. Because I've realized I don't want people bringing that work to me anymore. When I used to beg to have it, and I just couldn't wait for an opportunity for it, now I realize that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. Now, there was a time in my life when it was absolutely my purpose, right? It was my mission to understand some of these things. And in the 90s, not a lot of people knew web stuff. So it was cool. It was good. It was thrilling. But now it's become something very different. And And I've come to reconcile the fact that what we really want is confidence. What we really want is enduring energy. What we really want is something sustainable, something meaningful. We don't really want to follow our passions and pursuits blindly. And, that revelation was important to me because I realized that there was something that I could truly put in place that could become an unstoppable force. And that's what I'm here to share with you about. Because when we have an unstoppable force, we begin to really remind ourselves what matters most, not that happiness 24/7, but that significance, that reflection, what I did last month, that reflection, what I did last year, had meaning and purpose, right? That's what we really want. So how are we going to get there? According to our stats, it says that 6 out of 100 people have already figured it out. The other 94 of us probably never will. If you ever talk to a successful businessman, they will tell you, I followed my dreams in my heart and I became successful. Because that's a fun story to tell. If you ask that same business owner, what really made you successful though? They will quickly turn around and say, I failed. I failed a lot. I failed over and over and over and over again. I failed so many times I thought I was a failure, but I decided one more time I'll try it again. That's where the success came from, was in repeating failure over and over and over again, with endurance, with stamina, with a reason to do it again. Passion doesn't do that, though. Passion, on the other hand, is something that once you start to develop failure and passion, you move. You develop a new passion. You go from writing to photography. You go from photography to business development. You go from business development to video. And then before you know it, you've circled around the drain long enough, you've done everything, and you're a journalist. And now you can tell everybody with confidence, I can kind of do whatever you want. But you still haven't done what you want because you keep quitting. You keep stopping. You keep following your passion again and again and again and again. And so we've got to go from a purposeless life, which would be a very passionate life, to a purposeful life. And I'm here to tell you that when you start to understand where your purpose comes from, when you start to understand what has that fullness of purpose, your passion goes right back up. As I heard in another seminar earlier today, it's not a sacrifice. You're not giving up passion to achieve purpose, okay? And I also heard this today, they said, well, it's like all these dots that you put out there, and all these dots add up to a whole. And while that's exactly true, everything we do adds up to who we are. If you have an understanding of purpose, and let's just say you only get 100 dots, you only get 100 activities in your life, and those 100 dots create your picture, don't you want 60% of them to be on the target? Not 10? Not 1? Or maybe as the statistics say, 0, right? Because 96% of us don't have a purpose. We have to move from purposeless to purposeful. And when we do that, we develop meaning. We begin to have intention in our actions. We have conviction. We have a place in our heart and our mind that becomes the North Star that guides us. And suddenly, if I'm a blogger and somebody comes along and says, hey, I want you to come at this conference and speak about the photography you do on the side. You go, well, should I take the money, the time, and everything that goes along with it to go speak at a conference about photography when that's not what I'm supposed to do? 2 days ago, maybe you would have done that. It would have been cool, it would have been interesting, it would have been inspiring, but hopefully today, you'll see something like that and you go, you know what, I'm not called to do that. I do that for fun, I don't do that for real. I want to be for real. In a year, I want to look back and know that I was for real, right? So we're going to talk about purpose. You've got a worksheet that we're going to get to here in just a minute. There's 3 states of purpose, and I want to tell you that purpose is not a lofty concept. You do not have to be the thinker to achieve purpose. And we're going to start with calculated purpose. What calculated purpose does is it gets us on the purpose path. I'm in marketing, can you tell? When we get on the purpose path, we develop a new understanding of our passions. We develop a new understanding of our skills and talents. And we understand the environment that will get us to our place of peace, right? The best thing that we could possibly accomplish. And that happens through our purpose path, right? So when we get on the purpose path, we're able to make these decisions. We're able to align skills and talents. We're able to put these things into focus and develop our our workflow, right? Develop our decision-making process. And these are the 4 things that we're looking to align. I'm hoping maybe one of you will write this down right now. You'll write it down because later you're going to forget most of what was said here. And you're probably not going to bother to look back at this worksheet unless it just blows you away. But the truth of the matter is at some point you're going to hit a moment in time in your life and you're going to go, what's wrong? Why is this not working? And I want you to have sufficiently made a mental note that will draw you back to this very moment in time. And you will think again, passion, not enough. I need purpose. I need alignment of those things. I need skills and talents and all that stuff to be in place. All right? So thank you for writing that down, the 2 or 3 that did. Yes. All right. I'm usually with a reluctant bunch, but you guys are very, very helpful. Thank you. So when we're done with this worksheet, we're going to have a very simple statement. And if you don't know what simple means in my terms, because I'm pretty complex, simple to me means like 5 sentences or less. That actually tells us what our purpose is, what our passions are, where it is that we could put those things in place the best for the right people, our customers, right? The people who care about us. So when we walk out of here and we've completed this little worksheet, you're going to be able to say, wow, I actually know what I'm meant to do according to calculated purpose, what I'm meant to do, the people who like it, what I like about it, and the places I can do it successfully. And hopefully, from this point forward, you're going to stop saying yes to the maybes. Is Danielle in here?
Can you go back 1 slide to the 4? Yes.
Yes, okay. If Danielle is not in here, I'm going to tell her story, and she's going to be angry, but I'll tell it anyway. She says, I had a friend tell me, if it's not a hell yeah, then it's a no. That's a pretty good filter right there, right? Because we're willing to accept maybes a lot, right? Oh, maybe interesting. Maybe it'll be fun. Maybe it'll be fruitful, right? Yes, Monica?
5 minutes.
5 minutes left? Sweet. Okay, so maybe it'll be fruitful. The oh, hell yeah is a good measure. I think this purpose statement that you're writing is also a very good measure. When we're done, this is just one of many things that you'll be able to do moving forward in your business, in your life. You're going to be able to have a better decision-making system. You're going to have a better guidance system for your activities. You're going to be able to prioritize. You're going to be able to vet out opportunities. You're going to be able to look at your neighbor, just like I did today. You're going to be able to say, thank you for that opportunity. But right now, I am so focused on this pursuit of my purpose, and I know I'm absolutely called to spread the word on this topic and to do these things, that your idea, although it sounds wonderful, it's not in my heart. It's not what I'm passionate about, and it's not what I'm meant to do. I've got 2 friends, and I'm sure you do too, who this opportunity you're sharing with me right now would change their life. It won't change mine. So, the last thing in my little copy statement that I gave you guys was that it did something to magnetize, and I just want to share a really quick story. When you know what your purpose is, and you share your purpose with people, because trust me, you don't want to keep yourself a secret. That's no way to build a business. And you start to share what your purpose is, people are energized by it. They want to be a part of it. And the ones who don't want to be a part of it shouldn't be. And you start to get to a place really quickly where the right people in your life and the wrong ones have flushed themselves out. And that's one of our biggest problems. We're so distracted with things that don't match what we care about, but we hardly understand what we care about, except our passions. So we magnetize people to us, customers, vendors, opportunities, thrill seekers, fellow like-minded tribesters, because of purpose. And when I tell you that 6 months ago I was purposeless, and today I'm purposeful, that means something to you. And when I tell you that I realized it wasn't what I was capable of, but it was what I was called to, that means something to you. And when I tell you all right now that my purpose in life, right now, is to lift others up, educate, and encourage a better place we can have in our business place, to bring confidence into the marketplace, to bring activities that have meaning, you all know what my purpose is. Will I do speaking conferences? Yeah. Will I create a conference? Yes. Will I write a book? Yes. I'm going to do all those things because I know what my purpose is. Some of it I'll get paid for. Some of it I won't. And the ones that I won't are going to be so close to my purpose, I'll see it as worth thousands of dollars. Okay. So, that's my dramatic end. I want you guys right now, before we break into it, we're going to do the We Will Rock You one more time because I think you have just now found the way to rock it. Right? So we will rock you. We will rock you. All right, thank you. Any questions? I have a mic wrangler somewhere. I think Monica's got a mic in the blue. We're going to do a little bit of questions, then we're going to jump right into the worksheet.
So I think we're going to do the workshop. Next 30 minutes is your workshop. So you're going to, within your tables and your niches, discuss the document that's provided, and then 30 minutes we'll come back and we'll do the Q&A.
Yeah, for 5 minutes, though, if anybody's got questions that will help them do this worksheet about what we just covered, let's talk about it.
Yeah, are there questions right now that'll help anyone get clarity on the worksheet? Hold on, right over here. Oh, can we get more worksheets? That's going to help. Worksheets, hold on, worksheets. Another question?
Passion plus purpose, because remember, we're not forgetting passion in this whole equation. We're not saying you have to sacrifice it and throw it away. But passion plus purpose, because we're adding purpose to passion, creates joy. The difference between happiness and joy, happiness is a moment in time, joy is something that is more sustainable, it lasts longer. We want joy in our lives, right? So passion plus purpose delivers joy. Challenge plus purpose, right? The challenge plus purpose, that makes us stretch. We grow, okay? So when there's a challenge in front of us, but we know we're doing what we're supposed to do because of our purpose, we're going to grow, right? Failure plus purpose equals conviction. Because whenever I'm passionate about something and I keep failing at it, I'm going to stop. Because that's the nature of passion. You can't change it. I'm going to stop that. But whenever I know I'm absolutely doing what I'm supposed to do and I'm failing, I'm going to hunker down and I'm going to have conviction. Right? Because that's the enduring motivation. That's the fuel that we're talking about. And then the last part, the last bonus thing is ideas plus purpose. Right? Because we still want to have creative ideas. We want to do cool stuff. Ideas plus purpose equals discovery. So when we start looking at the simple arithmetic, those things, they all tie together, right? And we can use those things every time to stay in loop on our purpose path, to stay in happiness and joy, to stay in meaning, to stay in even when we fail, to stay moving forward on it. I'm going to open up to questions. I want to offer two things. One, I heard somebody saying, what is the driving force or whatever of the purpose? What is the purpose actually giving me? And the purpose itself is the kind of the rock that you're coming from. And people on the outside identify with your purpose, right? Passion, people have a passion. The example I used was, I have a passion for playing guitar, right? If I walk up to somebody and say, hey, I have a passion for playing guitar, will you help me? Well, unless that person has a high passion for guitar, they're probably not going to help. But if I instead come up and say, you know, this is going to sound crazy, but I can't play the guitar very well. In fact, I'm tone deaf. My skills aren't where they need to be. But I just feel like if somebody would sit down and learn how to play the guitar the hard way and figure out how to make it simple for everybody who currently can't create music to be able to create music on a guitar, I feel like we get more people playing guitar and they have more joy in their life, and more people who want to create music who have said, I can't do that. They'll be able to do it because I just feel like I've got it in me to make that happen. Can you help me with that? That's what purpose looks like, right? Now, it doesn't work for everybody, and that's the whole point. But the few people, or the hundreds of people, or even the thousands of people who see the value of being able to get people who cannot create music to be able to create music because you are so motivated to do that, they're going to go, you're on to something, buddy. I want to support that. And then all the customers out there who are out there saying, I've never been able to do guitar. I've never been able to create music because I've tried it and I wasn't able to finish it. And now they see that you're doing this, and it's so clear that you've created whatever the thing is, they're activated to it and they're energized by it. Okay, so that's what we're looking for when we fill out that worksheet, is the purpose that propels us forward where people want to get involved with it, not just what we want to get involved with. Questions? Yes.
Wait, hold on.
Ooh, that's louder than the mic in the last room. My question is about values. One of the things that I've come across in kind of my own soul searching is the term values. And based on what you're saying, I feel like it's interchangeable with purpose. So I was just wondering.
So values mean what to you? I mean, just for context.
Values to me are things like it's valuable to me to be a contribution. It's valuable to me to do things from love. And then I make my decisions based on, am I being a contribution if I do this? Am I coming from love if I do this? If the answer is no, I don't do it. If the answer is yes, I do it.
Okay. Yeah, so core values, we hear about core values a lot, and that's really what she's talking about. What are the core values that motivate us, right? That's a decision framework that's internalized. That's something that happens inside of you that you're able to very quickly identify a black and white issue. I like to give, therefore I will give. I like to encourage or comfort, therefore I will, right? Those values are meaningful. The thing about purpose, the values, obviously your values are inherent to you, so they're absolutely you. You're not gonna necessarily change your values. Although some purposes can be so motivating that you shift your values. You might go from a careless person to a careful person,
Yes.
right? So you can have some core value shifts when you identify a purposeful life, purposeful business, and so you absolutely can go from, sometimes people are shrewd. That's a value that they have, is to be frugal, right? They'll not be generous, but when they identify purpose, suddenly the things that are on their purpose path, they become very generous about. So it's a conflict of value, right? And so values, they're meaningful, but they're not a declaration of purpose. It's closer to a trait in that sense. Yes, ma'am.
Could you just help me by maybe giving me some way that you describe or define passion?
Passion. So the question is, how do you describe or define passion? Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
So we describe passion as something that happens inside of our heart, inside of our mind, something that energizes us, something that fires us up. Sometimes it's things that make us flow, right? We can go for hours on end, right? And like right now, I'm in passion, right? This presentation is in passion. It just so happens that this presentation is also on purpose, like on purpose, right? So I have matched passion and purpose together. So I'm using both of them at the exact same time. Now, if I was giving a presentation on social media like I used to do, right, that would not be on purpose, but it would be on passion, okay? Because that's not me. That's not what I'm called to do, right? That's somebody else. That's Chris Brogan or Scott Stratton or whoever, right? And I challenge that they're probably not called to do that either. They probably have another purpose that they're trying to go towards. But passion itself is temporary, it's fleeting, it's not enduring. It feels good, it feels right. It also hurts when it fails. And when we're talking about things of passion, what we're always talking about is a feeling. I feel good about this. Purpose, on the other hand, a lot of times will drive you to do things you don't feel good about, but you know you should, right? So a really bad example is I don't feel good at all about karaoke, but in this case I was willing to do it because it illustrated the point, right? But a lot of times we do things that don't feel good because they're on purpose. Did that give you a sufficient answer? Okay. Questions? Lady in the back.
Are you saying that passion is about self and purpose is about others?
There's two passions, And in fact, it's on the worksheet. There's two passions. There's the passion of self, and there's a passion for others. And the first lady that talked was talking about values. The values that she declared were values of passion towards others, right? She talked about being generous and giving, right? Those are internal traits that we want to do for other people. So we do have two passions in play. One is the passion for us, the very ego version of our passion, the thing that makes us feel really good. But then we also have a derived passion by helping others. And a lot of times that confuses purpose, right? Because when we think, oh, well, we're doing this for someone else, but we're really doing it for us, right? When we do that, it feels like purpose, but a lot of times it's an energy. It's a feeling of validation or gratification or security or comfort or any of those things for others, but they're important because a lot of times you can still do all those things on purpose, but it's not a substitution. So to answer your question succinctly, passion for others is not a substitution for purpose. However, purpose resonates with others. Any other questions?
All right.
Cool. So here's what's going to happen. You guys have been a real treasure to have here, and I thank you for it. I've been really thankful to have you guys encourage feedback and other things, and I walked around to some of y'all. As you see me here, if you want to come to me and ask more questions, if you're on the path of purpose, but you've got questions and you want some private time with me, come do it. This is what my focus is going to be on for sure this year and wherever it takes me from beyond here. But I'm absolutely convinced that my calling is to help people find their way in life, to stop doing what I did for 15 years, which was following the passion, making a lot of money for other people, but never feeling good about it. And so if you guys are in that place where you're willing to get a little uncomfortable, because that's what it takes, because 96% of the people haven't been willing to get uncomfortable, but if you are, and you want to be able to look back, when you want to flash forward 2 years, but look back on 2 years and see purpose, I'd love to help you with that, because I know this is a huge deal and it's going to change lives and it's going to change the marketplace. And the more people out there like you, blogging with purpose, doing video work with purpose, doing client service with purpose, doing fair pricing with purpose, giving donations and charity work for purpose, you guys are going to change the way we do business, and we're all going to be in a fruitful situation where people are encouraged to do work together because it makes sense, it's in harmony, and it resonates. So thank you.
Thank you.